Hello and welcome to another week of Talk of the Town, to the Port Adelaide Premiership champion. G'day, Warren Tredrea.
Mr. Costello, how are you? How's our friend Mr. McClure going? Is he cranky or is he happy now that Carlton is sort of going okay?
Well, he's the chief football reporter of the Nine Network. How are you, Sam?
I'm terrific. I feel really well rested. It's been a good couple of days of sleep. I've got a good feeling about this episode, so let's go. Let's get into it.
Beautiful. First run, let's just do it one take, away we go. And we'll start with a player that's about as popular as COVID-19 at the moment. That is the big forward from Tigerland, Tom Lynch. And he knocked a few people behind play in his win over the Gold Coast Suns a few nights ago. There's a bit of frustration there. And he's copped it today in the form of a video that's emerged a week and a half ago from the video game platform Twitch. Brisbane Lion Mitch Robinson has a bit to say about the big forward Tom Lynch. Take a look at these comments.
What are your thoughts on Tom Lynch? Don't like the bloke at all. Feels like Tom Lynch is a goat, is he? You know him, do you, head? Lynch thinks he's something. Oh, mate. He went to a good team to get success. That's what he did. He went to a premiership team and thinks he's that good. What's up, Jude?
And Treaders, before we get you to react, I just want to show you this tweet from Dale Thomas, former Collingwood and Carlton champion, who says, "I've appreciated your opinions recently, Mitch Robinson, but I feel this needs a retraction. Tom Lynch is possibly the nicest, well-mannered, unassuming bloke I've ever come across. Yes, he's had some brain farts on field, but I dare say mine nor your rap sheet is clean. Treaders, does Mitch Robinson owe Tom Lynch a retraction?"
I think if we're living in the world of political correctness, you probably do need a retraction, but he's not exactly wrong, is he? He went to the premiership team, or a team that's seriously contending, and he's had a couple of sniping efforts over the last few weeks. So I love the fact that Robinson says there's no filter between the mouth and the brain. It comes out, and it's either goes in Twitter or comes out his mouth, and we love that from him. And I also love the fact that if he's one bloke you want to play with in AFL, you want him in your team. He's hard and tough. So I dare say their coach is going to have a little bit to say about it, and also think that he's probably thinking, you know what, I put myself outside the club. I put myself outside the team. Most times it's okay because it's entertaining and it's forthright. This time it's probably overstepped the mark, so an apology's probably in order.
It's a good point, Treaders. You know, he's essentially sort of staged a personal press conference. He's opened himself up online to any sort of question and given a pretty frank answer. Sam, how will that go down with his coach, Chris Fagan, the Lions second on the ladder, going beautifully? And I guess the other point to make is, will there be some sort of punishment for Mitch Robinson?
Well, I was holding up the number 2. Yes, they are second on the ladder, but there will be 2 phone calls, I dare say, made this week. One will be from Mitch Robinson to Tom Lynch, and the other one, which I News the World style would really like to have a phone tap on, is Chris Fagan to Mitch Robinson. Because anyone that knows Chris Fagan knows that he's one of the kindest, most genuine, most intellectual people in footy, but they also know that he's not shy of reminding people just of where they sit. And we saw a little glimpse of that on the weekend when he gave the Lions a good old-fashioned spray. The Fox cameras picked up on that at halftime in the game against North Melbourne. And I dare say Chris will be picking up the phone and just reminding Mitch what his obligations are.
I like it. We'll come back to this topic in everyone's favourite new segment on Talk of the Town a bit later in the show.
What?
Let's talk about...
You can't call it everyone's favourite segment. When
it's the feedback.
It's all about you.
You have not got any feedback at all. You've not got any feedback.
All right. Well, there's a topic where there is a lot of feedback, and well, there should be, and it revolves around the Indigenous flag, the classic Indigenous flag, the sun motif with the black, red, and yellow colouring. And because of a copyright issue, the rights to the flag is now owned by a clothing company, 2 non-Indigenous business people who own that clothing company, I should mention. And it means one of the greatest ideas to come out of the COVID-infected season, which is having the Dreamtime game between Essendon and Richmond in Darwin. That event will take place without the Indigenous flag flying. It's upset the likes of Michael Long over Paris Indigenous leaders. Frankly, it is a disgrace. Is it not, Treaders?
I think it is. I didn't realise you could buy flags. I might go and attempt to get the trademark of the Australian flag, because Australia Day I'd rake a squillion. But that is just absolutely ridiculous. Why doesn't the government attempt to buy it back? I don't know if they can. As I said, I didn't know you could possibly do it. But it's poor. And, you know, I'm not an Indigenous person. I've got some Indigenous family members. I know what it means to them. The realistic is this is the moment they get to shine. This is the moment they get to put it all up in lights to say, this is the people we are. This is what we're proud of. This is our heritage. And this is our flag that represents it. Well, you can't do half of that when you haven't got the flag that represents it. So I think it's poor. And if I was those people who actually own that trademark, I'd be just going, you know what, for decency, let's just let the AFL and people roll it out where they can. And if it's in a commercial sense, well, maybe they want that. But in a normal sense and a human sense and the common, you know, sense test, this suggests that it should be available for anyone to use and to be a tribute to the Indigenous people.
Sam, Indigenous Round has just seen some beautiful examples of unification over the years. And to think that the sort of symbol of Indigenous Australia, the flag, can't be a part of it. What do you make of that?
Oh, it's despicable, Seb. I can't believe we've arrived at this situation. So Doug Nichols Round is my favourite time of the year, apart from the finals, because we get to celebrate everything that the Indigenous people have brought to our game. I mean, outside of football, our country we wouldn't even be close to where we are today without the Indigenous people. And imagine our game without them. It wouldn't be the same. The history is built on it, and the current day players. You think about some of the players that we've got taking on Indigenous Round. I mean, Eddie Betts in the first game on Friday night, that says it all. And yet we can't use the Aboriginal flag. We've got a huge problem that we've arrived at this situation, and it's not the fault of the AFL, who've done an unbelievable job, Seb, as you said, of building Sir Doug Nichols Round into what it is today. It's just awful. How did we get here?
I'll just finish with this before we move on from this topic. One half of the two business people that now own the rights to the Indigenous flag was caught selling apparent Indigenous art that he'd had made in Indonesia a few years ago. So it does give you an idea of the background of the people that we are dealing with here. Let's move on to a big prediction that was made by a team member of ours, Tredders. Put it up now. Sam McClure has listed his ladder, and I'm going to read it to you, Tredders. What your reaction? The Power on top.
Oh, yeah. Woo! That's all you need. That's all you need.
The Eagles, Lions, Cats, Demons in 5th, Saints in 6th, the Tigers down in 7th, and Carlton slipping into the top 8. Tredders, is this an unbiased ladder?
Why? I ask him. Why?
Okay.
How?
Yes, why? Carlton,
how? And why?
Make the case.
Speak. Sam, how? Why?
You know what I love about criticism is that people very, very rarely educate themselves before they criticise.
Okay.
Now, if you look at champion data, as I am now, you might get this up as a little graphic. Champion data has Carlton winning more games than any other team in the competition for the rest of the year. And I found that out not before, not during, but after I did my ladder prediction. I think Carlton will win 4 of their last 6. That means they lose 1 of Collingwood and GWS, which I think is fair, and they'll lose to Brisbane in the last round. Otherwise, they've got a pretty easy draw. If they win 4 of those last 6, they'll probably make the 8. If they don't, they won't. It's pretty simple. It's just maths.
Now it's the time. There's got to be, Seb, there's got to be something attached to that. You can't just write that stuff and just have it go off into the nether of the internet.
And yet
there's got to be something.
And yet I did.
That's in the vault. Sam, last week you said the Pies could win the flag. This week you've got them finishing in 10th.
I was hoping that didn't get brought up. This is a big backflip. Well, they were poor on the weekend.
They had a tough week.
They've had a tough week, and I've ruled them out of the 8. They play North Melbourne this week, which they should win. But other than that, they've got a really tough draw home.
Sam, just say you got me.
Yeah, you got me. Yep.
Plenty of opportunities to get me over the years. And let's move on to the newest addition to our program, Run the Graphics, Seb's Speedy segment. Put 60 seconds on the clock. I've got a whole lot of questions, and I'm going to spit off in rapid-fire succession to our panellists, and the time starts now. Sam Collins' passion after losing to Lynch and the Tigers was what to see?
Great to see. You love to see it more. If we had every player in like that as passionate as Sam Collins, geez, it'd be a feisty contest.
Tredders, the Bulldogs are potentially heading to their 3rd bottom 8 finish in 4 years. Have they had enough scrutiny since the magical breakthrough premiership?
Ooh.
No, absolutely not. And I don't think the coach has had enough scrutiny either. And I think it was very timely that St Kilda came hard for him apparently in the off-season, which forced the Bulldogs' hand on a contract. If they didn't come, I'm not sure they would have extended as far because their record's been quite poor since their grand final.
Sam, true or false, Essendon should finish up John Worsfold now?
False. I think that they had a plan. They're going to stick to it. John Worsfold can't be responsible for the current state of the list.
Treaders, true or false, Mark Bomber Thompson will one day be an AFL Hall of Fame member?
I think true. His record speaks for itself, and I think time will be the difference with some of the off-field issues.
He's on a redemption story, and we wish him all the best. Treaders, I'll just swap back to you for this final question, and that is, Jack Newnes' kick was the greatest clutch effort in recent football history.
Well, it was almost as good as mine against Richmond, where I kicked the winning goal and then saved the winning mark. So I'd have to say yes.
Yes.
I have to say yes.
Well, Sam, I'm not going to give you a chance to answer this because I have a nomination to make, and our producer is going to give us some vision that we're all going to be allowed to watch together. I mentioned this a few weeks ago. This is legend in the Victorian Amateur Football Association. Old Zabs needing a goal to steady and clinch the most enormous game they've ever played. It comes out of the middle now. The clearance doesn't quite happen, but what you're about to see is the best redhead forward since Darren Buick do some of his finest. It goes inside. McClure!
That was contested. That was contested. I picked you as an outsider.
Now, Sam, is this a final?
Grand final, yep.
Grand final, right? So the premiership is on the line. All the pressure in the world on our man. Now, I know a lot of people will be wishing, hang on, I'm going to hang that up. A lot of people will be wishing he goes back and misses this. But here comes McClure. What can he do? The premiership on the line, on his boot. McClure has goals! Straight through the big sticks. What a moment for the old Xavier Football Club, and watch them get around. I'm nominating that as one of the most clutch efforts in recent football history. Treaders, you don't look impressed.
I'd forgotten.
Oh, no, I just loved the crowd. The crowd was massive. It would have been...
You're crowd shaming him.
McClure, yeah, mate.
Oh, no.
You know what?
No, the six people were so happy. Those six were so happy you made their day.
Nasty. That was really, really nasty. And I'll keep that just in the memory bank. Just back here. Yeah. Just the next time you do something in media.
Collingwood for premiers.
Support.
Collingwood for premiers.
It's getting willing. Hey, before we finish this off, who's got a sure thing? Treaders, we look at the leaderboard. Now, hang on. I should have got a point last week because I said the Bombers beat Gold Coast and they drew. So I should get a point, shouldn't I?
No. You said they'd win. You said you don't get one if they don't win.
And I should be taken out of this competition because I said GWS had beat Sydney.
Oh no! Oh, you get first pick then, Warren. We'll give you a handicap.
No. I'll take Port over Hawthorn. Hawthorn's only got 3 players left, so if Port can't win this, we've got some issues.
Seb?
Yep. I'll take my Suns to bounce back and have a win over the Navy Blue.
Oh, that's just ridiculous. I'll take Carlton.
Oh, okay. It is
this might be 8th decided.
The Port Adelaide Premiership champion, Warren Tredrea, thank you.
Thank you, and thanks to the 6 grandmas. They love that goal.
Oh, Sam, mate, I've never done that. So I'm actually genuinely impressed. Sam McClure, Chief Footy Reporter for the Nine Network, and winning premiership goal kicker for the old Xavier Football Club.
Treaders, I think we should have a bet on something this week, and if you lose that bet, you have to tweet my goal.
No, that would be wonderful if you actually fulfill the last bet between Port and Carlton.
I didn't get sent any paraphernalia. I'm not going to go buy Port Adelaide stuff.
Another picture free gear.
Shelling out, mate. Shelling out.
We will see you next
Shell it
week.
out.